What I have on my screen here, the meeting minutes from last week, and we had to skip because of, like I said, the event in Redmond for Azure. So, I must have the wrong meeting notes up. Anyway, let me pull up my other set of notes. Okay, here we go, 10-2. So yeah, so this was the last set of notes, meeting 126. And what we noticed last time was, the international holidays, we had a few more items awaiting review just because we were waiting for those holidays. We didn't want to push people while they were out of office. And so we had Farhat and Alan Lowe coming. I hope you guys got this set. I must have misplaced them in my email. And so we talked about a few PRs, and then we talked about P4 PDK and the meeting we're going to have in December about the 5 objects being created. And then we had the P4 workshop. Chris, did you see any notes on the P4 workshop? I think you're on mute if you're talking.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Usually they publish all the slides and presentations. I don't think there were any videos.
Okay.
I've just heard dribs and drabs. Someone else may have gone who's here. I'm not sure.
Yeah. So that's what happened last time. And then if anyone wants to go first, please feel free. But what I noticed this week specifically, I'm not sure if Sosutha's here. Let me check. I don't see her. But what I did notice specifically is we have in the P4 Lang P4C Repo, we have this PR now, the support for 128 bitwise. And it looks like activity's been happening just up to 4 hours ago and changes. And maybe, Christian, would you be able to substitute for Sosutha and tell us what's going on with this one?
I think Sosutha is online. Is part of the meeting.
Hi. Oh, she did?
Hi,
Okay.
Christina.
Sorry,
I'm
I didn't see you.
here.
Sorry. Yeah. So, yeah, go ahead if you have a second.
Yeah, so this PR, we have started with the implementation for 128-bit bitwise operations. This is based on the inputs provided by Christian. So whenever there is bitwise XOR or an AND operation, and when the operands are of size 128-bit, initially P4 PDK used to restrict the operations if it is more than 64-bit. Now it will allow the bitwise operations alone, and we'll be generating a spec file when such operands are being used with 128-bit operands. So in the spec file, you can see the generation of new instruction called MoveH instruction. There's an example spec file. Can you come to P4? Yeah, in the left, just before the last file. No, still down. Yeah. So you can see here there are new instructions that are being generated when 128-bit operands are being used. For example, you see this destination address, which is an 128-bit operand in the P4 file. So now we are generating MoveH and move instructions for this 128-bit operand by moving the first 64-bit, upper 64-bit and lower 64-bit separately into 64-bit operand, and performing the AND operation or OR operation or whatever the bitwise operation is being done. Once that is done, again the result is moved back to the 128-bit operand by moving the lower 64-bit first and the upper 64-bit next. So that's how it is being supported. I have raised and waiting for a few review comments and addressing review comments that are already given. And if someone could check this with the dash and update, that should also be fine. Once if this is correct and if the approach is right, we'll start supporting shift operations using the similar logic. Arithmetic may not be possible till now. Maybe I can have discussion with Christine whether we can do those things later. But after the bitwise, we can go for shift operations.
Great. And I wonder if Riff might be a good suggestion to review this, or Riff, would you know a good reviewer for this? From the
Andy
dash side?
Andy Fingerhut would probably be a great person to do that.
I would say, hi, this is Chris. Thanks for the update. I would suggest, you made a comment, if someone can check it with Dash, but I would actually turn that around and ask, how about if you try to compile the Dash code with this as a test of completeness? We don't have a way of doing it without building the whole DPK, from the pull request, but presumably you've got it running, and if you could just pass the Dash code through it and see if it builds, that would be useful.
I can check with the Dash code, but only thing is, if the Dash code has anything apart from bitwise operations, again, it might fail. So I'll check it if it has any other operations apart from bitwise operations for 128-bit operands, then maybe I can comment it or do something and check if at least bitwise operations it is passing, and we can check that.
Well,
Christine, you have any inputs on this?
We already did that analysis a long time ago, maybe more than 1 year ago, and we didn't have any such things. I mean, we looked at all the places where IPv6 operations are needed, and we made sure that we support everything that Dash needs. Again, we don't support additions to IPv6 address. I don't think you will ever add to IPv6 addresses together or increment an IPv6 address or anything like
Probably
that. So
not.
that part we don't support, but pretty much everything else should be supported. So we did that analysis, and we tried to fix everything, all the places where we had gaps. But yeah, let's see.
It's a sanity check, right? It would be it would be kind of futile, I guess, to commit this PR and approve it without having tried, at least as a test case, the original problem that spawned this PR, right? Which was Dash code will not compile as is. So I think it would be a real good confidence builder to compile the code and say, yep, hey, it worked. And, then at least mission accomplished, right? From this group's point of view.
Yeah, you are right, Chris. Just one more comment.
Yeah.
As in a C program, also, or Java program, or any other program in any programming language, the fact that the program builds doesn't mean that the program will also work correctly. So that's probably something that needs to happen, needs to be checked as we run the unit tests, or as we develop more unit tests for the Dash project. So we'll have to have a regression and see what happens. Yeah. So there is more work to validate the functionality, but yes, I think a build test is the first item we need to fix. Yeah.
Yeah. If it can't at least compile it, even if it doesn't, we don't know if it runs. But if it can't compile it, then we can't submit it, right? It wouldn't make sense.
Yeah. And it looks like I don't have rights in this repo to add a reviewer. I could maybe suggest a reviewer. I'm not sure who P. Svinup is. Pichmani. Did you guys have other suggestions of who should review?
Yeah, I think we mentioned. I think we mentioned Andy Fingerhut.
Maybe, okay. Can we add?
$49.52.
Okay. Hopefully he'll see that if he's following this repo, or Frufier, or this person here, Pichmani. Thank you so much for doing that, Sosutha. That's amazing.
Thank you, Christina.
Yeah, appreciate it. Anyone else have questions on this one for the Intel team? No. So I'll go ahead and pull this one into the repo after we finish talking. And it looked like when I was, so I had just, I'm trying to update the README file. This would be my PR just to add, do a little bit of updating of the language and then add the YouTube links to the README description and things like that. If someone could approve this one for me, like Prince or Riff, if you could check it or merge it for me. I don't think I'm supposed to be doing my own, or am I?
Yeah, I'll do it right away. Yep.
Oh,
thank you.
okay. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks. And then I was hoping by adding those links, it might, gather some more engagement from people in the industry and people on LinkedIn and stuff to participate. Mircea, did you want to cover this one, the hero test?
Just a quick summary. So I
Mhm.
added details for implementations, let's call it, of the hero test,
Mhm.
trying to answer some of the questions that I received, let's say, in the past
All the
year.
time, yeah.
So if people want to look at it and give their feedback, and maybe, so next week it's OCP, so next week I can go through it in details and
Mhm.
see if we merge it or not.
Yeah. Yep. And I've read through this. I thought it was very good. So, yeah. If anyone has questions about, I mean, we have the documentation about what the hero test is, what are the variables that we try to tweak inside the hero test, and why we're doing it and what we're attempting to stress. But I think this goes much more into, okay, we know what we want to do. Now we have to set it up and actually run the tests.
Yeah, and if people can provide feedback on areas where they're interested in more details
Mhm.
or things which are not explained and they would like an explanation on,
Mhm.
that
Yes.
feedback would be great.
That would be awesome. So right now, who do we have? We have Bud. Thank you, Bud, for doing that if you're on the call. And yeah, if anyone else would like to be added as a reviewer, let me know and I can add you. Thanks,
Yeah, so
Mircea.
now I will review that as well.
You will? Oh, okay. All right.
Mircea, do you want to like maybe we can next week and talk through about it. Next week is actually OCP week. Right?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah, so maybe next week we can have a dash meeting, talk through about it. It seems to be a not they have certain contents inside, like several hundred lines of the design doc.
Of the hero
Yes.
test or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
That sounds like a very good topic. At least I'm very interested.
Okay, all right, yeah, because in the beginning, under documentation, it's strictly performance testing, connections per second specifically. And the test was basically created by, I think it was Rishabh and Gerald and James. And just here kind of talks about from a performance perspective, what are we trying to document and test? And so it's pretty good. Yeah, we could do that, right?
Is it a documentation move or is it's actually a new documentation?
Oh no, this is one of the oldest documents we have. So
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I thought it's a new one because I see an ad here. Okay,
yeah,
sounds good.
I think that
Yeah,
think
so
that
I
we're-
did some renaming and restructuring. Like, it was only one README file, which was called draft. I
Mhm.
removed the word draft and I turned it into a folder. And then the description of what we want to achieve, I left it untouched in the readme.md. And then I added 2 more files, one with the old implementation of the test, and which I left it as is, and one with the new description of the implementation, that is a new part, linked in the document, which describe how the hero test description is being implemented and done.
I see. Thanks, Mircea. Yeah, that's why I saw the content is actually majority of it is actually the same. That makes sense. Yeah, thank you.
yeah. And so we'll wait a week or two on that one. And then I guess I should ask, did anyone have up here they wanted to talk about specifically? Okay, then I guess we can go through these. Now, do we still have the holiday internationally, Riff? Where we're waiting for Jimmy and Xiaofeng and
No,
all those
but
guys
they-
for,
Yeah, they just came back.
they just came back? Okay.
Yeah,
All
they
right.
just came back.
And then it looks like on this one for the add tunnel member table and tunnel next hop table, there were some questions here about
I think for that one,
can we add,
have
can we make it create only?
I think I have already made it create only. Is there anything else in this? But I'll check offline. Yeah, I'll check in the meantime.
Okay, all right, cool. And
Create
then
only, create only, we should check, right? If we need to modify it or not.
Yeah, it's already changed to create only. So I don't think this one applies anymore.
would this be in, this is in
Okay.
the HLD, right? Is this, are these side pieces in the HLD defined there?
Yeah, so these ones are actually there. Oh, I see. Just changing the in cap and the tunnel key to create only. Michael, do we want to change that one to create only as well?
Mm. Well, let's
we can-
talk.
Yeah. That means we cannot change it anymore afterwards.
Yeah, because the tunnel should be updatable, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but at the same point, I'm more thinking from the point of view that content of the tunnel should be updatable, but unlikely that we'll update VNI. We may update next hops. From the point of view of route pointing, will be updated, for example, to point to completely new tunnel, or for example, update the IPs in a tunnel. But I think it is unlikely that we will basically update the VNI in a tunnel, for example.
It's very
But
rare.
the IPs will change in a tunnel. That's for sure. Sometimes basically we have IP disappearing and creating.
Yeah, IP is create and set. Yeah, keys are not really frequently updated anyway. I guess it doesn't really matter so much.
Yeah, I think so hold on, from the update perspective, right? I think the idea is that basically if there is one state, right, and there is a second state that we need to drive in a dash, right? We need to drive it this needs to be definitely driven as a replacement, not as a removal, applying this and then basically create from scratch. Because, for example, if customer has some specific route table that navigates to some specific destinations for some specific LPM prefix, right? If we need to do it removal and then re-add, then just after removal, the specific LPM prefix, for example, will not point wherever it's supposed to point. So the traffic will, during this time, travel completely differently, right?
Michael,
And only after adding this, right? So,
yeah,
so we definitely need to have a replacement logic here. Yeah.
I think that's not a problem here. So the replacement is always add then remove, right? Otherwise, you never know. Because when the actual binding is actually the time things takes effect. Where we have any let's say where we have any case where we actually change the key to the MSE.
We may, because recently there was an incident where basically, I mean, on our side, Microsoft, right, where, for example, they were changing from one set of switches to another set of switches for the customer. So the other set of switches basically was completely different tunnel that was replaced on a route, which basically different key and different addresses, right? But they did it actually, but this can be handled as entire tunnel replacement on the route, right? So I'm saying that. Maybe if this is what we want, maybe we don't need to basically change the key on MSE because this already changed. But what changes is, for example, set of MSE devices gets fully replaced with the other set of MSE devices. So basically something like a completely new tunnel to the that we replace. But yeah, not the VNI. VNI doesn't change, but the IPs inside will change in the set.
So
right?
in that case, will you program a new tunnel?
In case the
In a,
VNIs change, yes. But in case the IP changes, most likely we just want to update the IPs in the set.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like a key change. Will you program a new tunnel? Say there is tunnel 1, then there is tunnel 2. But with the same list of the depend point.
Yes. Sorry, the same. Rarely happens, to be honest. Usually these are different deep endpoints, but I can think from the point of view of, for example, Azure dedicated scenario, right? Yeah, we may need to, for example, replace like the entire kind of Azure dedicated VIP, maybe deep Azure dedicated switch, maybe having the same IP, right? Just we basically replace them to, for example, different VNI identifier, right? To point to different VLANs in a switch, right? So we may still have a scenario where basically the same dips needs to be replaced by two different dips.
Yeah, same dips replace the different set of
So
dips.
I think
so I'm thinking about, is there any scenario you want to do like in place replace on a tunnel?
of what?
An in place set on a tunnel which changes the key, but not changing the tunnel names or tunnel like the ID.
But what is inside the key? Key, it's unlikely they will be changed, right? Because I mean, hold on, but the key is ENI?
Yeah, the key is a VNI.
VNI.
Oh, VNI, yeah. Yeah, VNI.
Yeah, so
I
the
don't
only
believe this
case
will.
I was thinking is that if you if something happens, you want to swap the key to something
No,
else.
but then we'll basically create a new tunnel and swap the tunnels. Let's be honest, if the key changes.
You actually program a new tunnel, like a new
new tunnel with the same VIPs, but the different. Yeah.
Okay. Yep, that's the thing I would like to confirm.
Yeah,
because it's a 1-to-1 mapping, right? So then
that's true.
Yeah. So if the source bound is not supporting the create set, then if you actually change that, the operation may fail. Okay. So if that's the case, then we should have no problem.
I think we should be okay with making this grid only. Yeah.
Yep, that sounds good.
But I want to make sure, Riv, that I can definitely replace the entire tunnel, right? Object.
Oh, yeah,
Without the route as a replacement operation, yes.
Yeah.
And
because
and
tunnel
IPs.
is a tunnel ID attribute. So we can create a new tunnel, and then once everything is set up, sets the tunnel ID to the ENI. So that's not.
And the IP still remains changeable, right? In this proposal. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, DP is all bindings, so you can change it at any time. Yep. Okay, sounds good.
Thanks, guys. And please, anyone chime in if there is something they'd like to talk about too. Don't want this to be all about me. And I don't think, Farhat, did you want to talk about the submit Python model one?
Hi. Not yeah.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
No, I don't have any updates in this call for the Python.
Okay. That's thanks for taking the place of Sod on this one though. And let's see. So I'm thinking that the ones we were waiting for review, we'll just wait a few more days, just because, like you said, people were coming back from the holidays. I think that this Smart Switch reboot one, I believe it's still open and being edited. I've seen a lot of edits come through on this one. Yeah, this one's still under construction here. And so I've been watching that one, and support for ENI counters. This one, we needed to rebase, and so if we have changes approved and it looks like we're rebasing, then it looks like this one deserves a look. I think maybe Prince or Lawrence Lee, if you're on the call. And then the support for the side dash appliance object. So this one's in the SONiC SWSS repo. I'm just kind of tracking it here, but you know, our guy Mukesh from AMD did this pull request. And so I think we're waiting for a review from Lawrence and Prabhat here. Riff, are you familiar with this one at all, adding support for the appliance object? We just need to populate the local region ID field. That's what they're doing.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and this is in SWSS repo, right? So
Yeah, it
this
sure
the
is.
last
Yeah,
one.
right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't have control over this repo, so this is more of just a viewing type of thing that I'm
Yeah,
doing.
this needs Prince Sunny.
What's that?
This
Yes.
one needs Prince Sunny and Lawrence. They are both
Yeah.
in the review list now.
Yeah, yeah. And I did find one interesting thing I want to show you guys. Well, it looks like Vasundhara is still working on DPU dark mode here for Smart Switch PMON. So this is also in the main SONiC repo here. So looks like they're still doing quite a bit of commenting there. So work is happening over there. And yeah. So what I thought was interesting too is, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but over here, we actually have not only SONiC Dash, but if you were curious, I've noticed a few new areas being created like SONiC Dash API, and you can, it looks like the dev work happening here inside of the API. I don't know if you call this a repo, and I just recently started following it. And then we also have SONiC Dash HA. And we also have one more. Oops, wrong. Nope, that was it. So now I'm kind of tracking, you know, 3 different repos. So, but I guess that's all I have. Do you guys have anything you want to talk about today? So I know we have OCP coming up. I'm going to be there and hope to see, you know, whoever I see there. It'd be great to see you and say hello. I believe we have 4 demos, 2 to 4 demos, and I know the entire SONiC team, because Riff also participates in the SONiC team as well as Camille and everyone. So there should be some pretty good demos those and workshops those 4 days. Is that right, Murali and Riff?
Yes, Christina, that's the
Yeah.
plan.
Mm-hmm. I'm wondering if I'll see any of my AMD friends there.
Yeah, I believe we will.
Cool. And Intel, are you guys planning to go?
How about you,
Chris-
Alex, Alexandra, or
Christian?
Marian? Yeah, Marian and Alexandra, one of them should be there, right? I think they
Yeah.
have a presentation.
No, I'm not going this year.
Oh, you're not, okay.
Okay. Well, we'll miss you. That's all I had for today. Thanks everyone for coming, and I probably will have to cancel next week because we'll all be out and about, if that's okay. All right. Well, thanks, guys. Have a good day.
Yes, guys.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Christina. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.